done these before, right? Or no?
I've done a couple. That does not mean that I'm the best at them, so I don't know what's going to fly forth. But yes, I've done a couple of these before.
Okay. I mean, I'm an amateur. I'm not sure what I'm doing, so don't, Okay.
Uh,
But
well, good. That makes two of us. So yeah.
okay. I'm delighted to welcome a very special guest today onto my podcast, which I call Drinkglish. This is Megan Lee from Shame Sandwich, and she likes swearing and humor. Is that right?
That's very right. Yes.
What now? I'm gonna cheat here and just kind of read off a little bit about what you say about yourself. You say, "Shame sandwich. This is where you feel equal parts shame and glee and sharing hilarious personal thought rants every Friday." Right?
Hmm.
That's you. And some people call her Megan, which I'm calling you, of course. Your friends call you funny. Your kid calls you mom. Your ex calls you bitch. And you call yourself Jim Carrey in female form. I love that. That's one of the best little Substack profile descriptions, I guess it is.
Uh-huh.
But I
Uh-huh.
think it captures the essence of you very well. You have easily one of the most unique, quirky, bizarre, in a very good way, Substacks out there. It is quite, it's interesting. It's very, can I say it's postmodern? Does that make any sense?
Ooh, yeah, you can say that.
Okay.
Sure.
I mean that as a compliment. It's like it's very artistic. The form is great. The language is fantastic. It's terrific. You love to play with language, which I love, and I've sometimes maybe teased you about a tiny bit.
A tiny
Um,
bit, yes.
yeah, as an English teacher, but yeah, but I love what you do with the language. Language is so flexible, and I'm curious about all sorts of language, and I would love to get your thoughts on swearing.
Oh my
Um,
God.
And I guess this is going to be, what's the acronym? I'm like a Gen Xer, so I'm not very good at these acronyms. Is this like NSFFW?
Oh yeah, double F for sure.
Double
Yeah.
F, not safe for fucking work. So
Yeah. You
I
added that
just,
in there.
I added that
I
F
love
in
it.
there. Yeah,
I think
so
it's appropriate though.
very much so. Swear, I mean, I love swearing. I know you love swearing. What, do you have a philosophy of swearing? Like what is swearing to you?
Oh my God, swearing means so much to me. This is a very emotional topic for me. You hit you hit a nerve that I did not know I was going to describe it that way until you presented it that way. What does swearing mean to me? Uh, it is very cathartic. It is a way to get through the hard times in life. It's a way to bond with people. It is a way to reject and propel people because some people cannot handle the sweariness of life. So it's kind of like
Yeah.
body armor. Uh, and it's just, I think swearing makes life a lot more fun. It makes it a lot more colorful. And it enriches my life. Yeah, it means a lot. It means a lot to me. And I could not imagine expressing myself if I couldn't. Well, okay. I mean, yes, you can express yourself without swearing, and I do have a filter. However, swearing just makes it a lot more fun.
That's the key word. It's fun. It is cathartic. So when you say cathartic, you mean like in a very much like to express your anger sometimes?
Oh my God, yes. If I, stub my toe, step on a random Lego, I mean, let out a lot of swear words because, and it is scientifically proven. They say that it helps relieve pain, it helps you cope with pain. And so it can be for pain, it can be for anger. I mean, you should see my journal. Well, you should not see my journal because it's only for my eyes. um, but it is just, laced with profanity all the time. And yeah, it's a way to deal with big thoughts and emotions. I guess sometimes that's just how I get it out.
Sure. But it is fun too, in a way, right? I mean, not like I kind of we joked a little bit. I titled this podcast or this Zoom recording "Swearing with Megan," and you like that. And I kind of was joking. It's better than swearing at Megan. My mother's name is Megan, and I don't want to blame her for my swearing, but I did learn a lot from her, and I probably do swear at her a lot during arguments. Um, I mean, this might be too personal, but do you often let leash like a torrent of swearing at people?
That's a fascinating question. So when I am in my car and I'm driving, I absolutely unleash a torrent of swear words at cunty drivers, asshole drivers, I like all the kinds of drivers. They don't know that it's directed at them, but it definitely is.
Hmm.
So in that context, I do respect swearing. I also respect the weight that swear words can carry when you're using them in people in certain contexts. So I hmm, let's see. Do I swear at people? Um, yes, it has slipped out, definitely, when I'm arguing with people, but I try not to let swear words in because if I am using swear words when I'm mad at somebody, that means I'm really mad at them. And
Okay.
if I'm really mad at them, I don't let go easily. So
Okay.
I know that's like a barometer. So that kind of like touches on another subject, but yeah,
Yeah.
that's my long answer.
Well, then, I mean, have you ever sworn at somebody and that you shouldn't have, and then or you regretted it, maybe? I mean, because I swear at my mother. We have arguments. I mean, I think a lot of people do, but I don't feel great about it, and it usually leads to apologies and like weird feelings. But
Uh,
it's my mother. What about like strangers or just people?
Okay, so I'm going to give a vulnerable answer because
Mm.
so I'm trying to do with my newsletter. That's what I'm trying to do in my own life. So I may have sworn at my child before when she's being a little shithole. And sometimes shit just comes out and you're like, oops. Side note, she kind of has become a good swearer. Like she does understand context, which, sometimes I'm proud of, sometimes I'm not proud of,
Yeah.
but she does not swear like me. I'll put it out there. Like we're not at that level. But anyways, so I mean, yeah, it is a shameful thing to say. Like, yes, I have sworn at my child before, and I normally am not proud of that.
Hmm.
Uh, so yes, if it's something where my emotions, I don't feel in control of my emotions. Like, yes, I probably would regret that because it's probably emotionally charged. I cannot even imagine swearing at my mother because that is like a whole can of worms right there.
Yeah.
Whole can
Yeah.
of worms. I wish I could. That'd be great. I need to swear at
Mhm.
her. But yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's off topic. That's not, but I know a little bit about, I mean, family dynamics, and you've talked about that. That's one of the things you have mentioned before, isn't it? Like in your writing and
Mhm.
things. And of course, vulnerability. I mean, if you're being vulnerable, I'll be vulnerable. I have sworn at my daughter too. So I mean, we're only
I
human.
feel so much
Um,
better.
well, I mean, I'd be willing to bet I've probably sworn at my daughter more than you have yours. I don't know.
I
Um,
mean,
I don't want to compare. It's probably
yeah. Yeah. Oh.
we could get them both here too, because mine is just outside.
Oh God.
We get them to compare. Well, funny,
Uh,
if I can add, your daughter is 9, right?
mhm.
My daughter's 7. They have very almost the same name. I don't know if you know this.
Mm.
My daughter's name is Emily, but it's spelled Emile.
Oh, wow.
And I have just stumbled upon a very interesting Substack I didn't know existed called Squishy Sandwich.
Ah,
Which
uh-huh.
is interesting. That's written by your daughter, isn't it?
It is. It is.
Now, as far as I could tell from the first couple of posts, I didn't see any swearing, but I did ask a question in a post I wrote a long time ago. I asked a question, I put a poll, is it ever justifiable to swear at your children? And I gave a scenario, I gave it a case, and I think like 85% of people said, in my example, it was. But I would think overall, most people would say it's not. And in my case, in my defense, my daughter was having a really bad moment and she kicked me in the balls really
Mm.
hard. And in my defense, I
Mm.
had like blood in my piss for a couple of days after. It was that it hurt. And
Jesus.
I was just like, and we
Uh,
still kind of joke about it now. Like I felt horrible and she was crying and I was
mm,
upset and oh my
mm,
God. But I felt horrible, but now we can at least laugh at it. But I
yes.
don't feel good about that, It's like you feel horrible.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, okay, again, thank you for sharing that because yes, there's some times when you're a parent, it's like you're still a human being, and if something happens and as sweary people, we understand that our go-to to like get through a situation is to swear it out. It's like, yeah. And I also believe in modeling like, hey, Amelia, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that, and showing that we're human and that's okay. And sometimes you have to apologize. And also, this is a side, like a random tangent. So sorry, I'll pause there after saying this. But I also don't think that swearing is wrong. So I don't think it's wrong for my child to hear me swearing. I think that context matters. Uh, but swearing in and of itself, I'm all for it.
Okay, that's where we're on exactly the same page. Me too. But what is this might be a really dumb question. Why do so many people have a problem with swearing?
Oh
Because
my
there,
God, this
let's
is
face it, whether it's, I mean, certainly on Substack, but let's just kind of globally, I mean, big picture, you know this, I know this, like so many people are against swearing. They hate it, they think it's rude, that it's never acceptable. I'm probably going to offend a few listeners here. I'm not a fan of all the gosh darn stuff and like all those little weird self-censoring things that just sound awkward. Just we know what it means. We know what the word is. It's out there. It's impossible to ignore. Why not just embrace it and like, you know, within limits? I don't mean we just walk around telling everyone to fuck off and, calling people bitches and stuff, but I mean like within reason, like, oh, I'm so fucking tired, oh my God, that fucking idiot. Like that's fine. I'm not being rude, right?
uh-huh, uh-huh. Yes.
Well,
This is such a good question, and it's fascinating topic. Like I find people fascinating. I think why people do what they do is fascinating. So it's like, why is this? So in my experience, I grew up in an extremely sheltered, religious, homeschooled environment. It was basically as closed off as you can get. So swearing was not allowed, which is fascinating where I ended up. And we used things like crap, darn, gosh. And in the religious context, to take God's name in vain was a huge sin. So
mm,
that's why we couldn't say, we had to say, darn it or gosh. And so that's kind of where it started. So I do think that there is still a strong fear of taking God's name in vain. Even if you're not particularly religious, there's just such a reverence overall that people might feel towards God, or like just like a fear of the unknown of like, what if I piss God off? Like that could really fuck some
mm,
shit up. So
yeah.
I do think that there is that component that kind of permeates people's thinking. I also think that people are afraid of people who are self-expressionate and confident because it threatens their own identity. It threatens their own, if they're living a life that isn't as fully expressionate as they want to be, and they see somebody else being more expressionate, it kind of like shines a mirror in themselves. And I think that makes them uncomfortable, even though they probably aren't consciously thinking about it that way at all. And I do think that psychologically, evolutionary, people that are bolder, louder, even if it's in the context of swearing, again, it can make people be uncomfortable if they're a little bit more timid and they're like, oh, well, where could this person take it if they're this way? Could they also be, even more, I don't know, bold and wild in other ways? So I think with a mixture of those different kinds of things, yeah, people don't, they feel threatened when other people are more expressionate, and they're also afraid of pissing God off, even if they're not religious. If I had to like sum it up.
Okay. Even though, like, okay, this is going to sound like an ignorant question. I'm not religious at all. But if I'm saying like bitch or shit or fuck, those are not taking God's name in vain, right? It's only is I see. I don't know. To me, I thought it was just if I said God damn it or damn or anything along those lines. But if I'm saying like, oh God, this asshole or whatever, it just in everyday speech. I mean, that seems innocent enough.
Yes, and that's very true. However, the word fuck is very lewd, and it's not God approved. So like using
Okay.
that, like God would frown upon that kind of language. So that one for sure. And I think it also just, words like shit or bitch, they're disrespectful. God honors things being respectful and being, kind, even though there's a whole bunch of contradictory shit in the Bible and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but the other thing though that has to do with religion is that people love to control people. And
Okay.
so if they can tell you what to do and what not to do, they're like, yes, more rules, the better.
Okay. Interesting. I mean, you and I, from what you've told me, we had very different upbringings. Because I did not grow up in a religious household. My mother's Irish, so they naturally swear, and it was just like swearing all the time. It's almost like I just was, again, I wasn't brought up to swear. If I did swear, I was told off. I got into trouble, but it almost sounds like you were sort of rebelling or like you were repressed for so long. It's like, oh yeah, finally I can, you know, all this pent up anger and swearing and finally just like get it all out. It's almost a bit like, to make a really bad comparison, like abstinence only education. It's like they tell kids, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Why not? Oh, just don't do it. It's bad. And then they're like, well, I want to try it. If you tell me it's so bad, I want to see. And then, look what happens. Um, Kind of, what is it? Fuck around and find out. FAFO? Is that what the
Yeah.
millennials or
Yeah.
Generation A says? Something like
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And there was a time which just absolutely kills me. But I remember being a kid and I told myself I was never going to swear. And I don't remember why it came up. Believe it or not, I was a pretty good kid. I had standards for myself. I was reflective. I kept a journal. I can go back and I was like, God, I was a pretty good kid. It's like, what happened? Well, I know what happened. Yeah, that happened. Like that environment happened. And you're like, yeah, the pendulum swings. And so I was never exposed. Like I said, we were sheltered. Like the shit we didn't get to watch, the shit we were like, we were cut off and not exposed to. But it wasn't until I was, like 19, 20, I dated and married. It was not a great situation. However, he was a construction worker and they swear a lot. And kind of like that infiltrated a little bit. And that was the matchbox to Megan. And I was just like, bam, like everything just exploded, like swearing wise from there.
so let me ask you this question, because I kind of call my little podcast Drinkglish. It's meant to be like drinking plus English, but it's like kind of language explorations or language things. Um, I don't think anybody would say it's okay for a teacher to teach their students to swear. But what about allowing, I mean, maybe or maybe not. I don't know. I have taught swear words to my students over the years, but I'm an English teacher. I'm trying to expose them to natural language. They also hear it all the time in films and songs. I feel like it's my duty to sort of make sure they're using it in a respectful way, in a grammatically correct way. I mean, the word fuck is one of the most versatile words in English, especially with like phrasal verbs, we call them, like fuck with, fuck, fuck off, fuck at, or whatever. I mean, there's a million of them. As an adjective, like fucking, and it's just whatever, abso-fucking-lutely. As soon as I teach that to any student, it's like their favorite word automatically. I guess this is my roundabout way of asking, is it okay for teachers to either swear in class or allow swearing or teach swearing, or whether it's a language classroom or just a regular, I mean, I think in a language classroom it makes sense. In a regular classroom, I can't imagine the history teacher saying like, "Let's talk about the fucking Roman Empire, kids." That would be just
Oh
kind
my
of
God.
weird.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's why I have such a hard time in my day job because I can't fucking swear like I want to. And it's like at the end of the day, I'm like pent up. I'm like, God, I
Well,
need
I
to
mean,
swear it
just
out.
just to clarify, I am not supposed to be swearing in my day job either. I mean, I mean, my schools usually they have policies where we're not really supposed to be swearing necessarily, but I
Uh,
mean, okay.
well, like you said, you're an English teacher. So I do think that you would be doing a disservice to your students if you didn't at least in some way talk about swear words because it's part of language and it's a very fascinating part of like the context of how words are used. So I do think that in your context, and I also think that age does come into play if we're talking about younger kids, we're talking about older kids. Yeah, swearing in the classroom, that's a tough one because the issue, it comes back to with parenting. It's like, how
Yeah.
much what is my philosophy with my daughter on swearing? Because the problem is, if she doesn't understand context and how it's perceived in the world, and she just walks around with a mouth like a sailor like me, that's going to cause problems for her. Other parents are going to be like, that's wrong. Other kids are going to, make it a thing. So I don't encourage that or, allow that out of the home. And I think it probably has to be the same in the classroom just because society doesn't seem to accept it fully. I think that parents shouldn't shun swearing. It's like, when you're older, you can drink, you can drive, you can
Mm,
try new things when you're older. It's not that it's bad or wrong. It's
yeah.
just somewhat context and age appropriate.
Sure. So just to make it clear for all of our listeners and stuff, I would never consciously teach swearing outside of an English environment, like an English teaching environment. And when I do teach it to my students, it's very much like in a, oh, how do I explain? I don't really say, okay, kids, today we're going to learn about swearing, but we might talk about like, what some of the things you hear, what they mean, and like how you should and shouldn't use them. And for dramatic effect, like abso-fucking-lutely, something like that, which is, again, it's not disrespectful, it's just meant to show emotions and excitement. So I'm trying to like justify it in a weird way.
You sound
Um,
like a fun teacher because I don't know if do all teachers teach swearing
Well, I mean,
or
again,
English teachers?
I'm not employed by anyone right now, so I can say this. We weren't supposed to swear in the class, but there are some that do, for sure.
Okay.
And the thing is, too, like sometimes I did these English exams, and because swearing is so natural, I would never tell my students who are taking exams that they should swear, but I would say that sometimes swearing can show natural use of the language. And so, for example, once I asked a student about, like, the exam question was, tell me about a time that you had to give a presentation in front of an audience and how it went. And she was saying, oh my God, yeah, I totally fucked this presentation up, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that's really good language. I mean, that's like
Yeah.
high level usage, natural, not disrespectful. That's like, wow, well done. But I really don't think I could teach my students that, like, to say it. I can go in and
Hmm.
say, guys, don't bullshit me. Did you do your homework? Or I
Hmm.
don't want to hear any more of your bitching. Let's just do some grammar. I don't think
Hmm.
that's really swearing, though.
Hmm.
To me, that's just kind of innocent, like, whatever.
I agree.
Do you have, I want to wrap up. I'm conscious of your time. You're a very, very busy woman. I know that. It's, my weekend has kind of already started. Because it's like after 8 o'clock where I am. Do you have any favorite like swearing words or swearing expressions or anything like that?
Yeah, I do. They're pretty explicit. So lately, a couple ones that come to mind is like Christ cock. That one
Okay.
is it's pretty fun. I would say like at home, like the one that comes out probably the most is Jesus fucking Christ. Like if I like stub my toe or I'm irritated or just like whatever, Jesus fucking Christ comes out a lot. Uh, and Yeah, I do like using a well-placed cunty. I had a very cuntalicious week last week, so
Mhm.
um, glad that's done and over with. So yeah, things like that.
That's one, that word there, the cunt word. That's one that a lot of people don't like.
Yeah.
And this is a very lazy stereotype kind of generalization, but Australians tend to kind of use it liberally, and it's kind of not.
Hmm.
Now, there's going to be Australians correcting me on this if they're listening. It seems like more liberally used over there, whereas in the US, isn't it a little bit more risque or no?
It is. That's
Mhm.
definitely one of those words where you'll get like a, oh, you use the C word. So yeah.
Okay, it's
Hmm.
not one I use a lot, but I did shout it the other day, and my daughter asked me what it meant. Like, ah, geez. I had this great idiom I love. It's he would complain about finding a hair, something. Wait, he would complain about finding a hair in his shit sandwich, or he would bitch about finding a hair in his shit sandwich. That's a good one. That's really rude, but I kind of like it.
That's great.
There we go. Megan Lee, I'm again, like I said, I'm conscious of your time. I'm gonna say wrap this up and say thank you very much. Unless there's anything else you'd like to say, any questions, anything to get off your chest, anything you want to swear at
Um,
me, for example. Go for it.
uh,
I can handle it.
Yeah, thankfully I don't feel the need to swear at you. I love swearing with you. So I just want to say thank you for having the platform. I love the name of your podcast. I love that you are pro swearing. I think that more people need to hear these kinds of conversations and understand that we're not bad people. We're actually really fun people. And swearing is can be really cathartic. It can be really fun. and it's a good time. So thank you. This was really fun.
My pleasure. Anytime. There's lots of other topics to talk about. We didn't really even touch upon humor or anything else, but I mean, yeah, swearing. Oh, it's fun, isn't it? Great. Megan Lee, thank you so, so much.
Thank you.